Lately, dive watches have been having a problem because I think that for the most part, they have lost their essence. All of these types of watches were basically designed for rough life. They were created to be robust, everyday watches that could withstand scratches and impacts. Basically tanks that could survive all the challenges you could throw at them. However, dive watches became so popular that they were refined more and more, that they are now more pieces of jewelry. Take for example, the Rolex Submariner and the Omega Seamaster. They are two magnificent watches with a lot of history that initially started as tools. But as their popularity grew, the designs became more refined and of course the prices increased. The problem is that to justify these price hikes, the watch had to start feeling more like jewelry than a tool. And we began to see high polished finishes, faceting, and in the case of Omega, a glass back case. Obviously, all of this justifies the high prices that are being paid for these watches. But it gives you the feeling of something very refined that you don't want to use roughly. You're afraid to wear the watch because you're concerned about the scratches, because it looks so beautiful and well finished that you basically want to frame it and never touch it so it stays just as beautiful. But there is one watch that challenges the norm of these highly refined dive watches. And I can say without fear of being wrong that for me, it's the best watch Tudor has. And it is the Tudor Pelagos. While you buy the other two watches to show off at the office or for a brief dip in the pool, you buy the Pelagos to take it to the river, to go climbing, or literally to live a rough life, because in reality, this watch is a tank. It embodies what a tool watch should be. And now, I'll leave the specifications here, but it's basically a large watch with a 42mm case. It's quite thick because it has an automatic movement. And despite being big and robust, it doesn't feel heavy because it's completely made out of titanium. Now let's be honest, many people don't really like titanium because it's lightweight, but the watch is big, which makes it not feel so light, if that makes sense. Titanium as a material has its advantages and disadvantages. For starters, it has a very characteristic color that is quite different from stainless steel. It's an extremely resistant and lightweight metal that creates a titanium oxide layer on the surface, which scratches easily. However, just as easily as it scratches, it's also very easy to remove those scratches. In fact, even with one of those blue erasers that supposedly erase ink, you can get rid of those scratches. Another disadvantage of titanium is that it's very difficult to achieve different finishings. So Tudor opts for a fully brushed finish on the watch. Now you probably remember the video where I talked about the Tudor Ranger, where I said it was the most boring watch Tudor had ever made because it had no facets, no finishing. The entire watch was very dull. But in contrast, the Pelagos has facets and it has a crown guard that adds a lot of depth and character to the case. And then you add a bezel with an extremely industrial sound and feeling, which I believe is the best bezel in the industry today in terms of feeling and sound. It also features a crown click that truthfully is the best I've felt in any watch, because there's no doubt when the crown has popped out to set the date or time, or even when you just unscrew it. This watch comes in 3 versions and 2 basic colors, black and blue, which is to the point and exactly what you need. If you need something more understated, you go for the black. If you need a bright color, you go for the blue. And then we have one of the best blues in the industry. It's a very bright blue that it's easy to read. And speaking of easy readability, this watch has spectacular lume, which I think is just what you want when looking for a watch like this. A watch that charges completely with just a bit of light and glows brightly in any dark place. Even in a dark room or a parking lot, you can see that full glow of the markers and hands. The hour hand is insane because it's filled with this luminous material. And I think something that everyone in the industry should do, but almost nobody does, is add lume to the bezel. For me, a watch that shines a lot is an indicator of high quality, and this watch has it. Now then we move to the bracelet, which has a full brushed finish. It has no facets, it's very simple, but I'll repeat, you don't need polished links because they'll scratch. And even if this bracelet gets scratched, it's very easy to restore to factory finish. Plus, it features one of the best clasps I've seen and felt. We have 3 micro adjustment options that can be made almost without taking off the watch. And the 4th micro adjustment helps keep the watch comfortable all of the time. Many people don't really like this industrial clasp, but I think it's magnificent because again, you're looking for that in a watch like this. You don't want a pretty watch. You don't want an affluent watch. You want a robust dive watch. One that can take a beating. Moreover, this is a watch that's ready for action, so it typically comes with rubber straps. In this case they are blue, which is interesting because you can use them with the titanium end links that give it a different touch. It also comes with an extra strap that has a type of spring to ensure it fits better when you go diving. Without fear, I can say this is the best Tudor for me, and I truly believe it's the best tool watch in the entire industry. A simple, well-built watch with top quality materials, designed for you to wear it and not keep it in a safe. On the contrary, I think this watch demands to be used. It demands a rough life. And believe me, throughout my life I've had numerous dive watches, and none of them have felt like the Tudor Pelagos. Guys, remember that more than 92% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you like talking about watches and the market, please click the subscribe button, activate the bell, and I'll see you here next video.